Could be a perspective of the big, tough, strong-willed military person, and you went from that environment and you somehow found yourself becoming a certified yoga instructor.
Yeah,
Two very different perspectives. And for those that are unfamiliar with the yoga certification process, my wife had actually looked into it. And I think it's something like 500 or more hours of training to get this certification. It is a commitment. It scared me
totally.
just being married to somebody that wanted to do it. So, what led you down that path? How did you get into yoga? And what has it done for you?
Great question. So, what's really interesting about doing something like infantry, right? So, if you're doing something that's super physically intensive, it actually is, I would argue, more mentally intensive. So, what I mean by that is you can be in whatever shape you think you're in. Real quick, you'll understand that it's a mental game, meaning without the mental fortitude to continue or the intention to finish or the desire
Mm.
to do what you're doing in training to get to whatever unit battalion that you're trying to be accepted into, you're not going to get very far without that
Well
ability
said.
to mentally get there. um, so with that said, when I finished the military, like many others, very kind of hard-headed type mindset, um, very brute force like mentality. Uh, at the same time, finished with a lot of injuries, like pretty much everyone.
Hmm.
Um, and I
Yeah,
was
it takes
trying
a
to
toll
figure
on your body, I'm sure.
totally, yeah, totally. And I was trying to figure out ways to resolve for that. So I tried the um, uh, well, I'm taking a blank on that. Started the professional route in terms of resolving injuries, physical therapy. Wow, sorry,
Hmm.
drew a blank there. So
No
I was
problem.
trying physical therapy for a while. It was helping, but not so much. Slowly but surely, I was recognizing that I needed to create more mobility and space in
Hmm.
my body to free up the tensions that I was creating, which was a cause of both psychological tension and also just physical injuries and tension that, was an outcome of military service. Um, and, up front, it was very hard to commit to because uh, it being yoga, because it's such a different dynamic from what I'm used to, right? I'm used to saying, oh, here's a weight or here's a rep count. I'm just
Hmm.
gonna brute force push through. I'm gonna get it. I don't care what anyone says or thinks. Here's a
Yep.
pace, right? Running. Here's a pace. I'm gonna get it. I don't care. With yoga, it's almost the complete opposite, and that challenge was really intriguing to me once I was able to recognize it. And that being said, is mobility doesn't come from brute strength. It comes from breath work. It comes from patience. There's no linearity to it, right? So if you do 10 push-ups per week on day 8 or 9, you should expect to be able to do 12. With yoga, with mobility, flexibility, creating space, in your body, there is none of that linearity. I mean, one day you could, for whatever reason, be super mobile, maybe because you slept well. The next day you could feel yourself having half of that mobility in just your right arm versus your
Hmm.
left, or your right leg versus your left. So it's this amazing challenge that really uh, allowed me to dive into it more once I created patience around the concept.
Yeah, it takes a ton of patience. My my path is different, but there's some similarities. Lifelong athlete, very much a brute force type of person. I was unaware, uneducated about how proper body movements should happen, and
Mm,
like the human body is just like the ultimate adaptation machine. Like if you can't
totally,
put your arm above your shoulder, like you just other muscles pick up the slack and figures it out, and other
totally.
things tighten so that it holds your joint together. And you we walk around ignorant to
Hmm.
those compromises we're taking in our body, and then 10, 20 years goes by of brute force, and you find that you're in a lot of pain. And I ultimately I herniated a disc in my lower back, and my lumbar
Hmm.
spine's a mess. But I found myself going down a similar journey in trying to it's similar to yoga. I do some yoga moves, but it's like functional body movement,
Hmm.
and a lot of like trying to create space and proper mobility and engaging the right muscles. You mentioned breath work.
Hmm.
I didn't do breath work once in my entire career as an athlete or any of that, and I have come to find it like the most important thing that I do every day during my
Totally.
workout. Even if I most of my workouts are probably 15-20 minutes, but I do it every morning, and the
Hmm.
entire time includes breath work.
Amazing.
It's like step one, and that has been a change for me.
Totally.
Meditation and mindfulness, did that come from you found yourself in yoga kind of out of necessity, it seems similar to my journey. Did that then lead you to value and see the or to see the value in meditation? And that's what, because I think you even launched some businesses around meditation, the entrepreneur in you. Tell us about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it was really the same timing when, I was recognizing a necessity to change what I was doing to resolve for those aches and pains that I was, experiencing, not wanting for that to compound over time to a point where I would, be older and not be able to resolve for it. So, it was all in the same kind of dive into wellness, as I like to call it. And in that deep dive into wellness, came my 500-hour certification, came my certification in mindfulness and meditation.
Hmm.
And that's when I also launched a book on my practice.
Very cool. And what was the title of the book?
So the book is called Shalosh, which is the Hebrew word for the number three, and that stands for the three pillars to which I kind of practice wellness, being mental wellness, physical fitness, and nutrition.
The older I get, the more I value those types of perspectives and lessen the nutrition, the fitness, the wellness, the mental health piece.
Hmm.
I think you need to create time every day to do those. So I applaud you for that. Your experience in the real estate development world,
Hmm.
meditation, mindfulness, wellness, special forces veteran, you find yourself in New York City working in commercial real estate.